Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for this Monday, October 29th, 2018, from North Carolina, Flair Country, Charlotte, North Carolina, the Pacific. Following a surprisingly very entertaining WWE Evolution pay-per-view, women's pay-per-view, even with all the build and everything, it was still a very entertaining show. Of course, we had to be reminded that this was all a ruse to make us all forget about Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Because this is the final wall before that said event. Embrace yourselves. Every time they mention it to the audience, boos will be filled. Especially when they decide to air a Crown Jewel promo after Charlotte and Becky at the pay-per-view. So, with all that, especially with the dark cloud of Crown Jewel, I can see why people are mad about it. Everyone was already mad about WWE working with Saudi Arabia when this deal was first announced for their first show, The Greatest Royal Rumble in April. But it's elevated more attention, and negative attention, should I say, after this whole journalist got killed thing. So I won't go into the political things. I will say I am probably not going to make a review for it. Because I don't want the possible backlash against it. You know, a lot of people already either... I may end up watching it, though, but I'm probably not going to review it because I don't want to just face... Because it's all an icky situation. We do have a change to Crown Jewel. A possible other change. Plus, an interesting 205 Live debut on Raw. So it's kind of cool, even though that'd be a team that should not have been against them. I'll get to that later. So let's kick off Monday Night Raw with Baron Corbin holding the Universal Championship on his chest. Thankfully, he is not the champion. But we will have a new Universal Champion. Crown that Crown Jewel. It'll be Braun Strowman taking on Brock Lesnar, of course, stemming from the sad news that Braun Strowman's former enemy, Roman Reigns, has to leave the company for a little while. They battle leukemia for the second time. Continued thoughts and prayers to Roman. I did like that package that aired later on from kids from a hospital that Roman visited, sending their good wishes to him, including "You got this, woman" or something like that for little kids. So it was great. Massive, a lot of Roman chants, especially after that package aired. So, as Baron was getting ready to promote this Crown Jewel match, we would have the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, accompanied by Paul Heyman, out to ringside, talking about how Brock is going to return this championship where it belongs, around his chest. No, Paul, you need to clarify that Brock's going to, if Braun ends up winning, Braun ends up winning, which won't fucking happen, by the way. Because you know exactly, Paul, where that championship's actually going to go if that little bastard wins. It won't be around his chest. It'll be on top of his mantle because he'll be sitting on his ass, only appear on the wall once a month, and only defend the title 2 times a year. We don't want that shit anymore. We don't want to go back to the status quo before Roman became champion in SummerSlam. We don't want the same old shit. We love you, Paul, but the booking of Lesnar, especially as champion, we don't want another part-time champion. Especially the same one we just got away from. So then we would have Braun's opponent come out, Braun Strowman, say that he will win that title, and more importantly, Brock's going to get these hands. As Strowman was facing down Lesnar, Corbin decided he was trying to hold up Strowman back. They were like both guys were in the ring being nose to nose. And Corbin got a power slam, not one, but 2 power slams for his troubles. And as the fans were chanting for one more, Strowman was setting up for that, but Lesnar would come back to save Corbin's ass from another power slam and an F5 to Braun Strowman, with Lesnar holding the Universal Championship above his head. That means we know Lesnar's losing on Sunday. Because we've seen these kind of things. When one person stands tall at the end of a segment the week before a pay-per-view, or the week of a pay-per-view, should I say in this case, that means he's going to lose. That means we're going to see Braun Strowman win. You know, he's a babyface again. I'm happy he's a babyface again after his so heel turn with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Now, there was speculation about adding Drew McIntyre into the match to make it a triple threat again, like it was supposed to before Roman got hurt with this leukemia diagnosis again. But they didn't add Drew McIntyre in. But they're probably going to have him face off against Strowman eventually after this whole thing happens. Maybe after Survivor Series. We got some news about Survivor Series later on that we thought wasn't going to be happening, but hey, it's going to happen the way we would like it to go. So now, on to our first matchup. We matched from last week as Finn Balor takes on Bobby Lashley. But of course, the ever-annoying, doing his job correctly, manager Leo Rush, hyping up the fans to get him booed out the building. And this match was decent, of course, stemming, like I said, from last week's match when Finn Balor surprised Bobby Lashley with a surprise roll-up. So, Finn came in his high-flying moves, but of course, the power of Lashley would be too much for Balor in the early going of the matchup. With the Balor coming with his big moves, the sling blade, the big drop kick. And the ending would come as he was... I also like I think it was like a sequence, like Corbin, Balor was going for like the big move, and then he was going for a leap on, and Lashley caught Balor with the C4. That was a great little sequence there. Like I said, near towards the end, after the offensive fury from Balor with that said sling blade and a drop kick, he was saving for the coup de grace on one side, and then Leo Rush pursed Finn Balor off and got chastised by the referee, but no DQ yet. That's the key word in this, yet. Because Balor tried to do a coup de grace again from the other side, and Leo Rush tripped him up again. This time, referee did ring the bell. We did get a DQ finish. So Lashley's lost 2 weeks in a row to Balor in a pinfall and a DQ. I thought he was going to win 50-50 booking, but even though he lost again, at least he didn't get pinned again. And he got to beat up Balor after the matchup. Destroy him, a little beat down outside the ring, and he got congratulated by Baron Corbin. He had a little stupid feud with Finn Balor that lasted way too long than it should have, and he awarded Lashley for his efforts for putting him in the Crown Jewel World Cup. It's supposed to be World Cup, but there's only like one American in there. Would love to see Balor in there, but Lashley will be replacing John Cena. Ever since it came out over the weekend that John Cena and Daniel Bryan are both refusing to work Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. They kept them advertised on the card in case they were going to find a new location. There was lots of rumors about finding a new location. But at the end of the weekend, it was announced that WWE will stick to the original plans, despite detections from all people. A lot of protests, a lot of hashtag, cancel WWE, cancel Saudi Arabia. So Lashley is replacing Cena. We have no official word on AJ and Daniel Bryan's match. They may end up writing off Daniel Bryan the day of the event, but we'll see what direction they take for that match at Saudi Arabia if it happens or not. Now on to our next affair, a matchup, a 10-woman tag. We had 2 rematches from Evolution in 1. We have Mickie James and Alicia Fox teaming up with the Riott Squad to take on their respective Evolution opponents, Trish and Lita, and Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Natalya. Of course, the mention the heel team is, of course, accompanied by Miss Bliss at ringside. Still not clear to myself. Hopefully, she and Trish will face off eventually. It was cool to see Trish and Lita in there with the Riott Squad. Like, little interactions with them, including poetry motion from Lita and Trish. It was not as crisp as last night's poetry motion because Lita did trip up on that release. We didn't see Alicia Fox like botch tonight, especially after her miscue on breaking up the count at the end of the match at Evolution. So there you go. The Riott Squad did try to regain their motivation and regain their momentum after losing, but a great triple teaming, isolation game, and Alicia Fox got involved too. You know, taking down Bayley, isolated from most of the matchup until the hot tag Natalya. She came with the big moves like the drop kick and a lariat. But then came all the finishers started coming in. Liv Morgan ate a lot, including a twin twist of fate from Bayley and Lita to two members of the Riott Squad. That was cool. A little homage there. And then Bayley would hit the elbow. And then Lita would do the moonsault to that. And Alicia Fox got taken down with the heart attack. That was cool. From Natalya and Lita. Leading up to Fox being locked into the sharpshooter. Tapping out. And at least it wasn't one of the Riott Squad members tapping out. Here's Alicia Fox is. Because Mickey ate the pin on Sunday. So now Alicia Fox doesn't lose. So we have a little celebration with the face team. Decent little match here for the women here. Coming up at Evolution. Then we have some cool news concerning Survivor Series. I kind of addressed this a little bit a couple weeks ago. That there was rumors that they were going to get rid of the SmackDown vs. Raw theme of the last couple of Survivor Series this year. Especially with the rumored Angle Corbin match at Survivor Series for control of Raw. But they are going to stick to the Raw vs. SmackDown theme. So, of course, the one time of year, they like to say it like that, the one time of year when Raw and SmackDown goes head to head. So we're going to get champion against champion of both brands. We got the first match officially announced. And this should be interesting. It'll be Raw Women's Champion, the Rowdy one, Ronda Rousey against the SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. They had a little competition after Evolution that was on the network, actually on the WWE.com. Exclusive after the show. This should be intriguing. I'm actually looking forward to this match. And I enjoyed some of the brand-on-brand action last year with the exception of the shitty main event, with all the old guys getting over more than the new guys. At least Storm was one of the last survivors with Triple H. Of course, being a bill with his match against Angle with Rousey at Mania. So, when he turned on Angle that night. So, but hopefully more new guys get over. But I don't know how they're going to book this match with Wanda and Becky. You know what I mean? It's an intriguing battle, but everyone knows, sadly, Becky probably has to lose. Hey, SmackDown won last year in the women's SmackDown vs. Raw match because you had Bliss against Charlotte. Charlotte won that one, so now Raw's got to get some heat back. So, but they should have like a screwy finish in this, but we'll see how they book it. But it's still going to be intriguing to see Wanda against Becky. Should be a decent match. At least Wanda has someone competent to work with in the ring instead of Nikki Bella. Anyway, on with our next scenario involving Elias. Now a babyface. After beating up on Baron Corbin last week, slashing him across the back with a guitar, it felt kind of weird to see him as a babyface. Because I've said this a couple times, that we've seen a lot of good heels become okay, not good babyfaces. New Day, they were awesome heels, and yeah, there was some questioning about them turning babyface, but they actually become good babyfaces for good and for bad babyfaces, you know? Sometimes babyface one's been good, but then sometimes it gets somewhat annoying. But hey, it's New Day for you, you know? But before I need to mention something before we get to Elias' segment. What's the House Hardy Halloween? Speaking of weird, what's the House Hardy Halloween special? Yes! Because it was wonderful and delightful. I loved it. I actually like that. I hope it becomes a series. I heard they were doing a House Hardy series. I love it. It's a great segue for it. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great humor. So, some people like it, some people don't, but I like the kind of humor, you know. I thought it was great. Watch it. We want a House Hardy series. But Elias was singing a song, was about to sing a song, about Baron Corbin, but what he did to him last week, smashed him across the back with a guitar. He's like, I didn't like ruin one of my thunders. But I'll do it to beat the crap out of Corbin. So, when his mic's still on, he went to the back, looking for Corbin, who was still recovering and selling his injuries from the beatdown he suffered from Braun Strowman earlier in the evening. So he knocked on Corbin's dressing room, and he started to sing a song behind the closed door, saying that Corbin's not the best anymore. And struck a nerve, and Corbin opened up the door, and Elias going to sing the rest of the song, saying that your career is now in a ditch. Now that you become Stephanie's, right before he said the word bitch, Corbin would slam the door shut, and right the hell out of nowhere, here comes Jinder Mahal to beat down Elias, smash him across the backstage area, only after that for Corbin to come back out and say to Elias, you're taking on Baron Corbin's hand-picked opponent for you, Jinder Mahal, right now. So, with both the Singh brothers back, because one of them returned last week, it'll be Elias against Jinder Mahal. And Jinder Mahal tried to pick up the scraps from the beatdown he just laid up on Elias before the matchup. But despite the advantage from the beatdown earlier, and of course, the obligatory distraction from the Singh brothers, but too bad they didn't get their asses kicked. This time, that's the best part of any Jinder match, especially now with both Singh brothers back now, because one was out in knee injury for about a year. Now you can see everyone's favorite part of a Jinder match. The point when the babyfaces beat the fuck out of the Singh brothers, but not tonight though. But despite the early advantage from Jinder, Elias will come roaring back, recovering from that attack very nicely, with the big moves leading to the drift around and the victory in an okay little matchup as Elias' feud with Jinder Mahal, boss, and more importantly, Elias' boss, Baron Corbin, heats up. So we'll probably get a few with these two, probably a puppet match between Elias and Baron at some point. You know, stemming from this little feud. And I'm actually liking Elias as a babyface. You know what I mean? Because the fans were already cheering him anyway, despite his heel-like motives. Same happened, I said this last week. Same thing with John Cena. He was the heel rapper and he turned babyface. But they became stale after a while. So I hope they don't do the same thing with Elias. So now on to a triple threat tag team match, which has not much bearing because now we may not have World Tag Team Champions for a while. We'll get to that in a moment. We would have Bobby Roode and Jack Gable against the Ascension against the AOP. It's kind of a quick little matchup here. We had like one break, and then like Jack Gable and Bobby Roode did like a quick double team onto Victor. And that was it. It was like a very quick match with Roode and Gable beating up on the Ascension again. But the AOP would lay out everybody at the end of the night, despite the loss. At least they didn't get pinned in this match by doing a lot of double moves, including, of course, the Super Collider to both Gable and Roode. So AOP still looked tall despite the loss, even though they got officially pinned. I was like, okay, little matchup here, a little quick. Of course, AOP wants those tag belts, but who are the champs? I will say this right now, they did not address the Raw Tag Team Championship situation after what happened last week with the emotional heel turn from Seth Rollins, his former friend and partner, and Shield brother, Dean Ambrose, attacking him after they won the Raw Tag Team Championships against Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I'll stand by what I said last week. I know a lot of people were not too happy about the Ambrose heel turn coming at the moment after Roman Reigns had to forfeit the title. I thought it was the right move. I think a lot of people would agree with me. It was the right move because it adds more impact and adds more emotional depth to everything. You know, they were probably going to turn Ambrose heel anyway. Then we later on, they were going to turn Ambrose heel maybe after Survivor Series. They were already teasing the Ambrose heel turn, but now to have it after a moment like that with Roman and everything makes it more emotive. You know what I mean? And the reactions were priceless. And they're going to use them up like crazy in the promo packages like they did tonight. So we have this segment as Seth Rollins called down Ambrose to explain himself for this roller coaster of a week and why he did what he did. But Rollins did feel it might have been his fault because he turned on the Shield 4 years ago. And he said maybe Dean has held it against me for all this time. Maybe he's held up this pent-up frustration at me for all this time, and now he's finally returned me the favor. He turned on me, especially on the most auspicious timing of this, you know. So he called out Dean. Dean's music would hit. No Dean. I thought he's going to come out from behind like he's been doing at the house shows lately, from what I've been reading from reports. But Dean would, of course, add more salt to the wound by coming down, well, arriving from the crowd. Stood up at the top of the section as Seth delivered an impassioned promo against him to speak. And I like Dean Ambrose's facial expression, the smug look, grabbing the microphone and refusing to talk, and just the way he just portrayed himself, just the snooty little here, like not talking. And he almost came down the ring, but he walked back without saying nothing. I know a lot of people will be like, also, no, it's a stupid segment. Nothing got solved here. But hey, we like things to end quickly, but there are times we want things to build and add more suspense. And this was the right move as well. And they add more suspense to it by not having Dean say anything tonight. And just walking away with that. His facial expressions were the star of the segment. You know, he said nothing. And he said a lot with just those expressions without any verbal words. Just his visuals expressed more than his words would have. So it'll add more suspense to when eventually these two will finally face off and we'll finally get some clear answers in this storyline here. So building more suspense. Let's move on to our next matchup. The winner of the Evolution Battle Royal, Nia Jax, took on the woman who I think should have won. That was the only nitpick for me besides the placing of the main event. Ember Moon should have won that Battle Royal instead of Nia Jax. Ember didn't eliminate the most, and at least she had a chance to shine in there. But she would take on Nia Jax again tonight. These two had a match a couple weeks back in the spirit of friendly competition. But it went to a double countout. And we almost had a countout in this match too. But thankfully we did not have a countout, but we did have a screwy finish. As Nia was coming back with a big power moves, and Amber was trying the Eclipse a couple times. We did see a distraction from Tamina. And Nia would inadvertently capitalize on that distraction. As Moon got distracted, Nia would come with a big move on Moon. That would be a big tackle, leading to the leg drop and a victory as Nia and Tamina faced off, with Tamina walking away. The team's in a partnership. The team's in some sort of maybe a partnership with Tamina and Nia ever since Tamina came back. Now that Nia is going to challenge Ronda Rousey for the championship after winning the Evolution Battle Royal, getting opportunity. By the way, she says she's going to cash in the opportunity on Rousey after Survivor Series. To get focused on her Becky Lynch match that was named earlier in the evening. So we're going to see these two maybe at TLC in a chairs match. Be more stipulation matches than at last year's TLC. Have not just a TLC match, but have a tables match, a lettuce match, and a chairs match. Separate matches for those weapons instead of not having those kind of matches at all like he did last year. So let's see what happens this year with that. So now we have some good news and the bad news. Good news is we got the Wall Debut Lucha House Party today. Yay! Should have been built a lot more, but hey, it was kind of cool to see some more 205 Live guys on Wall. Hey, they don't want to just pay these guys for appearing once a week. You know, we've seen Leo Wash as the manager for Bobby Lashley, Drake Maverick the manager of AOP. And now we have the Lucha House Party tag team match tonight. We have Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado, with, of course, Grand Metalik at ringside. So that's the good news. We got to see Lucha House Party on Raw tonight. The bad news is they had to face and defeat the Revival. Ah! Fuck. They could not find any fucking jobbers, any local jobbers to do the job instead of Revival doing it. Like I said, I was torn. I was like, yay, Lucha House Party. Fuck, they have to lose. They had to beat Revival. Fuck. They didn't have a chance to shine here, especially after the early offense, especially a scary spot when Lindsay Dorado overshot his suicide dive. He got it, but he landed pretty hard on the barricade. Nasty, scary spot there. But despite the Revival trying to look good here, distraction from Grand Metalik with the pinata would distract Dawson long enough to walk into a Selena Del Sol from Kalisto in the 1-2-3 victory, sadly, with Revival losing. You know what I mean? They had the best story they ever had, you know, challenging the B team for the tag belts, you know, looking dominant again after so many missteps on the main roster. And now they had to fucking lose to the Lucha House Party. Grr. I'm happy for Lucha House Party, but man, the barrier of the Ascension, and not only that, the barrier of the Revival, sadly, continues. Now on to our main event match before main event segment involving Dolph Ziggler Now, we had packages for all the competitors except Lashley that are participating in the Crown Jewel event. I think we had a package for Seth, but I know we had a package for Kurt and a package for Dolph. They're probably going to have a package for John Cena before he pulled out. So Dolph withdrew, came down the ringside before Dolph's scheduled match, talking about both their, well, at least Dolph's intention to Crown Jewel. The brackets have been revealed. He'll be taking on Kurt Angle in the first round, while Bobby Lashley will be taking on Seth Rollins. And in the SmackDown bracket, we're going to have Jeff Hardy against The Miz, and Rey Mysterio against Randy Orton in the first round. So Dolph was talking down to Kurt Angle, first applauding him for being an inspiration, for being a collegiate wrestler, transitioning to WWE, but even announcing a USA chant, doing that promo. He talked to them saying that I am the best in the world. Very decent and passionate promo. But of course, Mr. McIntyre is interested in the Universal title match with Braun and Brock. So we have this match now with Dolph Ziggler against Apollo Crews. Fans did not care for this match at all. At least giving Apollo some airtime, after losing to Elias 2 weeks in a row. When Elias was still technically a heel, and now he's a babyface. So his last big heel thing was against Apollo Crews. His being Elias. So, by Apollo, they got coming with big moves, including a press slam and a big flashy moonsault. Dolph stole the win. But there was some big moves, including a big. It was actually a distraction from Drew that would capitalize with a big surprise super kick from Dolph. Capitalizing on the distraction and 1-2-3 victory for Dolph, giving him some momentum before Crown Jewel. Decent little match here, but hey, it did its job, getting Dolph more over and getting Apollo Crews more airtime, but he needs more development in his character. That's been one of his big problems on the main roster. He came from NXT to main roster too soon. I still say that to this day, and he had no time to develop a character, despite that $1 billion smile. That's the only thing he's got for him, is that $1 billion smile. That's all I gotta say about that. On to our main event segment involving the Brothers of Destruction, the Demon, and the Mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, Kane, and the Phenom, the Undertaker, came down to deliver a chilly little okay promo to DX, head of their match at Crown Jewel, which of course the mention of Crown Jewel triggered boos from the Carolina Democrats and Republicans alike that were in the crowd. So, save it for politics. I have to say that much. I've been saying this last couple of weeks, even though this match should not be happening, they've been doing their damnedest with the great promo work they've been doing, the great production for the promo, especially last week's promo. Even though the grave scene was kind of illy timed, because not only did Roman Reigns had to be diagnosed with cancer again, my cousin got ran over in an accident. Not an accident, but got killed, a hit and run in a hotel in Harrison Township. It made the newspapers like, dang. It's crazy. It's sad. Prayers to my family right now, especially it's my mom's side of the family. My mom's cousin Danielle. So anyway, we would see DX interrupt. Primo Pacific, one half of DX would come out. As Triple H would come out, flashing the DX light bands, the flashing things, the light up sticks. If you notice, no Shawn Michaels. Where was he? He came from the crowd. Came chase after Triple H, while Taker was left in the ring to eat sweet chin music from Shawn as he scurried out of the ring before Kane would get his hands on him. And as DX would scurry back to the Titantron, Kane got back in the ring. Taker was still down. And I was like, he's sitting up, isn't he? Then right on cue, bang! Taker would set that up with the lightning sound effect. The Dead Man's music would play, and that's how we end Monday Night Raw this evening. So, interesting way to end with the setup, more promo time, more hype for the match at Crown Jewel. Even though this match should not be happening. Like I said, they're doing the damnedest to make us give a fuck about it. So, I wasn't saying that much. Applause for them for their efforts. So, that's my thoughts on this Monday Night Raw this evening. Thank you so much for watching this review. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. See you next time. Bye-bye.